Hello and welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 and the Survival Series. Right, so we are in September day 1. And if you didn't know, I do 3-day seasons on this series. I do that on a lot of series, to be honest. Between 3 and 5 I find is the sweet spot. So we're currently on day 1, which basically means we've skipped 2.5 days since the last episode. And a few weeds have popped up in the potato field that we did. And they're all kind of sitting, waiting for the right time of year before we even sell that kind of stuff. I think we've got some other bits and bobs to sell, to be honest, along the way, but it's all going to hopefully come around the same time. Some of it's going to be kind of carried over, I think, mainly the planks. They're always a April time or something along them lines. But December, January, I always find that's when we're selling a lot of stuff like silage and the crops and all that kind of thing. So we're trying to bring in that money, and that's always good because we tie over at that point and then start the expansion into the next year. That might be January when it stops, and then I do the expansion. We start off in February again and kind of cut that through. I don't show the process of that. I just build it up with the money we've got, and then we skip to the next point. And that's how I've been doing it. I find that if we try and aim for something each year and get to that point, build it, and the next year we'll have new aims and new targets to meet as well. So we'll go through what I want to do with the expansion. I have talked about it briefly, which is mainly getting a new pasture, a new barn, something to do with cows or sheep, just to get a lot more, and obviously start getting some returns. So that's like manure, slurry, because we were lacking on that. We've got 30 cows, I think, over there, and that's a nice barn pasture, don't get me wrong, but we don't get any manure. They don't even take straw, and we're also not getting any slurry from that. So it is, yeah, we can improve on that, definitely. And the pasture we've got, well, it's not even a pasture really, it's just a tiny little area for sheep, and they do nothing, absolutely nothing. It's a bit like the chickens. We've gone for show, really, same as the sheep, whereas we can start aiming now to get some good returns from that. So in this episode, we're going to plough this field. I am going to be using Courseplay, though, for a lot of this stuff. I don't know if I'll use it for this plough. I might do. I just find Courseplay sometimes a little bit tricky when it comes to ploughs that don't turn, and this is a static plough. It doesn't turn on me. It's an old one, like everything else on the series. And then we're also going to be setting up Courseplay to start mowing, so we can actually start that off now. Now, I did want to mulch the fields, the 3 fields that we had oats in, but the problem is I haven't got a mulcher. I've got a roller, and I don't think it's worth buying a mulcher for just yet when we're only sitting at 14,000, because we do want to save up as much as possible now for having a new tractor. That's one of the targets. I want a tractor that's around 130, between that and 160. Depends how high I can go really with the money, but we've got 190 on the Landini, we've got a 90 horsepower Hurleyman and 100 horsepower on this John Deere. We need to replace the Hurleyman, and I want that to be the medium tractor then. So we're looking at something that will fit in between the 100 of the John Deere and then obviously between the 190 of the Landini. So that's an aim, but we also want the pastures that I explained. So we do need a lot of money. So let's quickly just jump in here. I have been prepping because it's better to be prepared than not. We're going to start this off from the first waypoint. It's all set up the course. It's one headland and then ups and downs. So it shouldn't take too long, and it's a pretty decent mower as well, but we're going to leave that going. We're going to spend a bit of cash here to make cash. That's how I'm seeing it, because it's always good to make silage. So this is all we're doing now. We're making silage to sell. I'm going to try and bale it up and take it in bale format. It's easier to do that than putting it in a bunker, letting it ferment, always taking out of that as well. It's just a bit of a faff. So I'd rather just make some bales now, and then I think it's January or December, it could be January actually, when silage is the best time to sell. So that's that started off. We're going to now get this plough done, and then after the plough we're going to focus on the trees. Now it is difficult to even describe in my mind in a video what I want to do here. It is. So I'm just going to try my best. We've got a boundary. You can see the field boundary pretty much set going across. There is where my land ends. So it's on the line you can just see in the mini-map in the bottom left corner. Now, I don't own anything past that. The chunks of land that I own on this series is this. So this over here is pretty much where the sawmill is there. And then you've got the farm. That's the main, like where the house is. These are the fields. And then the track to the farm pretty much goes up around here. We've also got a track going across behind, well, it kind of works its way through the field up to here. So this is grassland area, but it's quite hilly, so we can't really do much with this. And this is the patch here where, in fact, it's probably better if I do this with my mouse. This patch here is the next spot where I want to try and build in. So I've got a lot of trees, and anything behind this fence we can chop down. And we want to try and clear out a lot. I don't want to clear out everything going in that direction to the grass field, because I don't want it to be all the way clear through, if that makes sense. Eventually it could be, it depends if we put some stuff in its place to obviously replace it, but it's going to be difficult to do that. So I'm actually not thinking too much about chopping in this direction just yet. We can do, depends what kind of pasture we put in. If we need the space, we can do, but I think going out in this direction, it's a bit of a weird thing when you look at the map. It's like diagonal across, and there's loads of trees that I've already chopped down, so it's difficult to show you, but if I show you from this point, you can see that there is a good chunk of space, and I want all these trees down, chopped up, and I want to sell all this as wood, and obviously keep topping up as well the sawmill to try and get some planks, but we won't get the returns from that until after we've made the expansion, just because of the time to sell. So I'm not too fussed about doing loads of that. It does take its time. It does take time anyway to process through that. So I'm thinking just to do one load, because I think we're actually looking at productions. I think we're actually just about to get down on the load we put in. Let's have a quick look at this as well. Sugar beets at nearly 5,000, so that's 5 more crates to tip into the sorter, nearly. And the planks, we have about 14 pallets of planks, so that's 14,000 litres, sitting there ready. And then as you can see, there's only 1,376 litres of wood left to convert into planks. So we can fill that up, but I think the rest we're going to chop up, we're going to take to the sawmill, we're going to sell it as wood, and all that money, I'm quietly confident that it's going to bring us enough cash in, because this is a lot of logs. And we don't have to worry as much now, because you can see it goes all the way down there. It's a fair amount. This is literally the last remaining reserves, I'd say, of the area I want to chop down. And we don't have to worry about losing out now on and not having enough wood, because we've planted so many trees that we are eventually going to chop down. All the stone pine that I put in, and yeah, I think it's stone pine. It's all the pine trees and all the stone pine trees, sorry, and all the spruce trees that we've planted in. There is, you know, quite a lot of it. So we will have something else to chop. But if we invest now, I think, into maybe getting ourselves some good pastures, we should get good returns if it's from wool, or if it's from, I swear, that should be giving me a bigger row than that. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, if we do invest now, that's what I was saying, and it should give us a better return in the end, because we're obviously going to get more money from wool and more money from milk. That is the aim. I did want to maybe do this. I have set a boundary to this field, so we could actually try to do this as a course. Let's just see. So it has automatically detected it. I don't really think I need a headland on this. I'm going to try without a headland. It might be a mistake. And we're just going to try and skip one row. Let's generate the field. And close that, and let's have a look here. And you can see that it's a lot of rows. It's probably better to use courseplay on this, actually. I'm just hoping it can turn, because I've got a few things down this way that might cause it a few issues. Let's just see how it gets on. So, drop that down. I mean, the plough looks bigger than it is. It's strange. But it is quite narrow, after all, so maybe that makes it... Wow, they are big stones. So, it's that bit that I'm worried about. Hoping they can turn in the field, which is what she's doing. That's good news. Right, so while they're doing that, we're going to now start doing some good old logging. It's been a while since I've been doing logging. Yeah, it is a big task. It's quite repetitive, but it pays off. It really does. It's like money that you get from logging is insane, really. So let's chop from about there. And as soon as we clean up what we've done here, it might start making a bit more sense as well from what we can see, because we have kind of blocked the path, let's say, of what we can see. I've got a few trees it's going across, so it's even a little bit more tricky than it needs to be. Let's cut that from there. There we go. I've already chopped down quite a lot of trees, to be honest, to try and prepare for this. I always think as well, it's a really good idea to try and remove all the bushes, so I might get the paint tool out. As soon as I've cleared out this bit, the trees, I'll get the paint tool out and we can have a look at just clearing out some of the bushes so you can get actually a better idea of the land. And I can show you as well the amount of trees that I've chopped down. So that looks better already. You can actually see a bit more. So what have we got here? This one's going in that direction. And we should get notifications as well when everyone's finished in their job. So I do want to set out the row as well. So when we've done enough mowing, I can get the hurleyman out to do the rowing. Because I will need the Landini and the John Deere. So I'm hoping that this Landini gets to work pretty straightforward. And we can use it then to cart the trees, or the logs should I say. So I do want to try and take some loads today. It's just, yeah, it's a long-winded task, and this is going to be something that I have to do in between episodes as well. But making the clearing is important, so let's at least make a start on that. You can see how many trees I've got here, it's crazy. This in itself is good money. You know, I don't think doing all this is necessary, really, for what we want to buy, but I'd rather make the area for us to build into as well. I think that's important. So even if we just chop down the trees but then move them out the way to try and free up the space, I think that's also a good idea. Because having a pasture, it's a big area of land you probably need. If it's a lot of cows you want or a lot of sheep you want. Right, so what I'm going to do, so it's not quite repetitive in the video, I'm going to crack on with this for a bit. I'll make a headway on it and chop down a few more trees, clear them out, leave them on the ground, and then we'll have a look to see where we're at. And hopefully by that time as well, the lady doing us a job in the Landini will be close to finishing. Right, so welcome back. It's been probably about 30 minutes of gameplay, and this field is now all sorted. We've got a few stones, not in the middle though, it's weird. They've actually appeared around the edges, and yeah, on the edge of this side and the other side. So I'm going to have to sort them out because they are quite hefty stones. And I think they're too big to roll in as well, so I'm going to have to pick them up, unfortunately. And the mowing is all done, so I've set the hurleyman now. You can probably just hear him in the distance. So the hurleyman is rowing up. You can see some of the rows are actually pretty decent. So he's going to get to the point very soon, in fact, where he'll be doing his final headland pass. I've got him starting in the centre of the field. And then we need to get the baler out. So because of that, I've actually set up a little bit different over here. So let me just show you this. So as you can see, the trees have gone. I have made a massive clearing. I've even painted down this text just to help me see a little bit more. And look how many trees we've chopped down. There's loads. In fact, I could chop that one down there that's just sitting in our fence line, but we don't have to. But you can see there's just loads. There's loads, and I still want to do a lot down that direction, which is this space then is going to be where the pasture slash cow barn, whatever we end up having, is going to be. And I do want to free up the John Deere. Now, I usually use this when I'm logging. So what I've decided to do is keep this spare and see if the loader will do it. And so far, I've picked up a couple. I've put one log on and I've picked up a couple there just to test it out, and it's working a treat. Now, the good thing about that loader is it actually has a front loader attachment on the front. So all the tools that I've got set up for the John Deere front loader, they'll all go onto the wheel loader, which is great news. So we're going to use that. And what we're going to do is get the baler, and we're going to get some bales going. We're going to follow the same course that I've set with the row, and then at the same time we've ploughed the field, we've baled up all the field. We just need to wrap the bales, but I'll do that probably in between the episodes. And then, yeah, we can do some logging. Now, I want to try and take 2 trail loads. I think that's a good point for us to aim. Take 2 trail loads. I mean, I know this episode has been a lot of prepping and doing some logging as well. I didn't want to put all the logging in. I tried to cut the good chunk of it out just because I know it does become a bit repetitive in a video. I mean, I enjoy doing it. Gameplay, probably a lot of people are the same. But if you're recording it and expecting someone to watch it without actually being hands-on, it can be a bit repetitive. So my aim was to just give you an idea of what we're doing and kind of set them foundations for this upgrade we're going to get. And obviously we need to bring the money in first, so all them logs are going to be what does that mainly. We've obviously got a few other things going on. Salvage is going to help, but the logs are the main thing. They really are. I mean, look how different that looks already. It's like, you can already see how far we've expanded backwards. It naturally just looks a lot larger now, the field. So that's great to see. So, with him, I think he's about to start his final headland pass, which is great, because what we can do now is open up this, get up the course, and we want to load in the 7-meter row. Activate that, job done, and it's the first waypoint. We're going to go in the centre of the field, which means that the guy going around wrapping now. Oh, there's 2 headland passes, sorry. He's going to go round, and we're not going to have any issues. The bales are going to drop in an area where he's not working on, so that's good news. So starting here from the first, let's just see. It's a lady. Let's just see if she picks up the grass, and she is. So that's great news. Now, unfortunately, with this baler, as good as it is, it only does 3,500 litre bales, which is tiny. It means that we're going to be hauling a lot. Ideally, at some point, we want to start getting some big bales, even if it's just for hay and straw. But yeah, big bales is best. And I mean, I actually think that when you're doing this kind of stuff to sell, it's probably easier to handle square bales, even if it's silage. It's probably easier. So we could look at a square baler, and then we've got a wrapper already. That should do the job. But yeah, at least we're doing some bales, and that's the main thing. It's all for money at the end of the day. We're not going to keep any. We've got plenty of silage as it is. So let's go and load up. Now, I am going to do a time-lapse on this because, as you can imagine, loading up with a load all and a little grab like that can take some time. But we're going to do it. We're going to try and chop it as we go as well. And then we can pick up as much as possible. In fact, what we could do to make our life easier here, we could do the cuts now. I am winging this. Sometimes I do actually measure them, but I'm winging it to try and get a good size, or the right size. Sometimes it is difficult to eyeball it, but so far I think we're alright. We need to get 2 loads here, so why don't we start tackling this side as well to try and make a bit of space as well. And then we can do a time lapse of us loading it on and taking 2 loads. That's the aim. I think if we do 2 loads, the money will have shot up. I mean, we spent about 3,000 doing the work with course play. So we do need to try and recoup some of that back. Right, so I've just cut up several pieces all around, so we're going to have to now load them in. I think, hopefully, there should be enough. We'll try and pick up 2 at a time if we can. If not, we'll pick up the larger ones individually. And you know what I'm going to do because of that sign? I'm going to move this forward. Trying to think of a good spot to put this in. Maybe if we actually go over here. That should be alright, I'm hoping. We will make more space soon. So let's drop these 2 in. It actually works really well. It's got good rear weight on it as well, so it's not going to tip over. It doesn't take the stress of them. It can definitely handle it, so that's good to see. So let's pick up that one there, because that's a pretty chunky one. And I think this is a good point as well to start a time lapse, and we'll get 2 loads done before the end of this episode, definitely.
Young, or am I faking? On the tip of my tongue, there's a sarcasm waiting for you. I'm willing to trade my soul for a bit of your charm. There's no way I'll fade into oblivion, 'cause I'll keep shining over you all. And if your wings entwining, you better face the fall, keep trying again. Oh yeah, keep trying again. There's mud on the floor, desperate people trying to get through the door, although the room's already crowded. But I'll keep shining over you all. And if your wings entwining, you better face the fall, keep trying again. Oh yeah, keep trying again. Zeros, everybody's trying to be heroes, when all they have to say to be okay is I don't know. And keep trying again. I'll keep shining over you all. With your wings entwining, you better face the fall. Zero, everybody's trying to be heroes, when all they have to say to be okay is I don't know. Are you okay? I'm not that sure.
Right, so there we go. That's 2 loads done. We're at 29,000, which isn't too bad at all. I'm aiming for I'm going to aim for 150,000. That's a lot of money. I don't know if I've ever had that before going into a new expansion. But why not aim for it? I mean, we've got enough trees. I think we can just make that alone from trees. We're already at 30,000. And we've got to sell the Hurleyman as well. That's 12,000 on top. So we're pretty much like 42,000 already, which is a third of the way there, nearly. So I think we can do it. But yeah, I don't know if you noticed as well, the first load that I was doing, they were like small cuts. Now, some of them like this I can't pick up, but some of them I could pick up. So I decided to pick up the little bits by hand. Like, I haven't actually got one now. This one, for example, and that one's probably the same. Doubt I could pick this one up now. But so on the second load, what I decided to do was just do large cuts, because this load all's amazing. I don't know why I haven't used it before to pick up the logs. It really is much better. It's with it having the reach as well. It just made sense. So definitely going to be using that from now on. And also I'll be doing a lot of this in between this episode and the next one now, because we do need to get this money in. It's September. We've pretty much got like 3 months. Well, we've actually got 4 with September as well. So before we need to start properly concentrating on doing this expansion, finding the right tractor, hopefully just the perfect time one's on offer in the store. If not, we'll go for something. We'll definitely find something. We always do. Let's just have a quick look at the guys out in the field baling. Hopefully we're getting close to doing the whole thing baling wise, and the only thing that will be left is wrapping. And again, I'll do that in between episodes. So hopefully by that time, hopefully by the time the next episode starts, we'll have a load of bales all wrapped up, fermenting, to then eventually load up and take when the time is to sell, which is again December, January time. So You can see he's doing pretty well. I wonder how many bales we've done in this session. Let's open up our menu. We need that one. It's actually interesting to look at this because I don't think I've gone into this page once this series. So we've done 26 bales in this session. So that's this episode. I've actually cut down 21 trees as well in this episode. And it's interesting to know as well that I've actually cut down 312 trees in this series so far. But I've also planted 280, so that's pretty decent as well. So bales produced 300. Fertilizer and seed uses is not really telling us much there. I mean, we're always going to use quite a bit of that. It's good to know, though, that years played. We've actually played 4 years already of this series. And harvesting time, that's not much, is it? Not much at all. It's about average with everything else, though. Like I said, we haven't done much field work. We've probably done a lot more logging than field work itself. And I think everything else is about the same. I mean, it's all useful, but doesn't say too much. Harvest hectares, that must be grass. So we've done, it's actually acres. It says harvest hectares, then acres. That's interesting. That's a bit strange as well. So is it hectares or acres? Which one? Well, it's 6.21 in this episode. We've worked on 7.11. So yeah, should probably look at that a little bit more, especially after each year, just to get some information on it. But yeah, this guy, he'll carry on now. He'll finish off. It won't take him too long, to be honest. We've done quite a lot of bales, as you can see. So hopefully that'll bring in some good cash. It's not amazing, but we might get it 30,000 if we're lucky from this. 3,500 litres. And this is what we're selling. We are going to sell the Hurleyman. It's been a good tractor, but it is severely underpowered for where we're going next. In fact, just before I end the video, we'll have a quick look at this. I mean, that's a beast. That is a beast. 130,000 though. A bit expensive. That would be useful. That would be useful. I do believe if we load potatoes into this fully automated filler to obtain 1,750 litre pallets for resale or storage. So that is interesting. Just trying to see if there's anything stands out. Nice Manitou, but we don't need one of them. Load all, it's perfect at the moment. 94,000. That's not bad, but it's too much for what we want to spend. We do need to put in a pasture of some sorts. Why not have a quick look? So we've got quite a few options here, I'll be honest. But we want, like 35 is not enough. We want to be getting in the 50s at least now, maybe more. So you can see that the price is going up now on these. I mean, I don't know if I missed one that was, that's 30 for 20,000. 40 there. That's 40,000. And that isn't bad at all, really, is it? We could put that. Sorry, it's not 40,000. It's 40 cows for 27,500. That is an option. It's pretty decent. And it's giving us... It looks like we've got a slurry... Well, that's milk. And that looks like it must be slurry. So, as long as we get something, then we can put manure in as well and all that. That's 30. That's nice. I do like that a lot. That is just an open cow barn. That's 30 cows. This one's 60. Now that, I think, is what we're looking for. 60 cows and £58,000 on that one. I do like that as well, though. But then again, it's only 40. Kind of makes sense to not spend, save 2,000 and get 40 and get 20 more cows. But yeah, I mean, 60 is pretty much. It's an open pasture. 60 cows, man. It's a no-brainer. Well, there's 250 there, but that is humongous. We're not going to do that. We've got loads of options, though. I mean, look at them. There's one that I saw recently that's just a massive, massive thing. Look at that, 150 cows. I mean, maybe one day we can work up to that when we've got 300k spare, you know, just sitting there, as you do. But we are a survival series after all, and it's not going to be something that just happens just like that. But I think this one for 58,000, which is not a bad price for having 60 cows. And if we look around, you can see that I've got a point there for milk. Looks like I've got a point there for slurry. And if we put something to the side of it, which is like a manure bunker, we can get manure. Now, I'm just trying to think if there's a trigger obvious for straw. I'm hoping it's on this side where we feed here. But I actually really like that, and I think it would suit the farm that we're building quite well. So at least we've got an idea of where we're going to go. And I think whilst I was chatting, yes, he did. He finished baling, so that's perfect timing. We've done all the baling in the field. The grass is now cut for the final time this year. We've done a lot of logging. We've even cut down quite a big clearing. And I'm chuffed as well that I've just found myself something to aim for when it comes to cows, because I think milk is the best route. I mean, if we get 150,000, spend 50,000 on a tractor, that would be ideal. And then 50,000, 58,000 on that, we'd be left, you know, with a bit of cash spare, maybe, for a bigger sheep pasture. Because we've got something tiny at the moment, and I mean tiny. I think it might actually be, it could be that, it is. So that's only 7,000 and holds 15. I mean, this here is 6.5, and that holds 18, so that's even more than we've got now. But we could go for, well, we'd have about 40,000. That holds 200. That holds 200 sheep, and it's 45,000. I mean, why not? We'll have the space. We could even stick it in this corner. I'd leave plenty of space left for that. So let's, you know, if we play this right and get enough money, we can get ourselves a nice new tractor, or brand new second hand, let's say, and then a pasture for sheep and a pasture for cows. That is the aim. But on that note, I am going to leave the video there. So thanks for watching. Really do appreciate it. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, because that does help my channel out. And if you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this one on Farming Simulator.